Hi, I'm Madame Pamita, and this is Madame Pamita's Parlor of Wonders. You can find me online at parlorofwonders.com. I'm going to be talking to you today about working with lodestones. Lodestones are naturally occurring magnetic rocks. They've been used for centuries, even millennia, as magical tools for attracting and bringing in what it is that you want. They're called magnetite is another name for them, but lodestones is what we use when we're talking about working with them magically. So if you want to work with lodestone, traditionally they're used for bringing in prosperity or bringing in love. If you're going to work with them for bringing in love, you want to have two lodestones, one representing you and one representing the object of your desire. If you're working with a lodestone to bring in money, you only need one lodestone. So how do you select your lodestone? Well, it's very easy to select the lodestone for money and prosperity because you just pick one that sort of speaks to you, that you like. You look at different lodestones and you find the one that you'd like to work with, and that's the one that you can work with. If you're working with a lodestone for attracting love into your life, then you have to identify the gender of the lodestone, make sure it corresponds to your gender and the gender of your object of your affection, and work with them that way. So how do you do that? Well, we gender lodestones in this way. If the lodestone is pointy, we consider that a male lodestone. If a lodestone is more of a round shape, we consider that a female lodestone. So you can work with a male and female lodestone if you're trying to attract someone of the opposite sex, or a female and a female, or a male and male if you're trying to bring in someone of the same sex. So just pick your lodestones based on that. Now, what is it that you have to do to prepare your lodestone? Well, you're going to need a few things to prepare those lodestones so that you can work for them. First of all, you'll need an empty jar of some kind. A small one is good, or one that will just fit around your lodestone. You're going to need some liquid in which to cleanse them. Traditionally, you can use whiskey, you can also use Hoyt's Cologne, you can use Florida water. Any sort of alcohol-based magical tool is good, but those are the ones that are most traditional. Lastly, you're going to need some lodestone oil, and you'll need a little pinch of magnetic sand. Magnetic sand is the iron filings that are used to feed your lodestone. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So the first thing you want to do is, the night before you want to work with your lodestone, you want to cleanse that lodestone. So in this case, I'm going to work with a lodestone for bringing in prosperity. So I only need one single lodestone. And I'm going to work with Hoyt's Cologne because Hoyt's Cologne is good for gambling, luck, and for prosperity and money. So go ahead and empty that liquid into your jar. And then put your lodestone, I'm going to use this one, put that lodestone in the jar and let it sit overnight. Well, the good thing about that is that with a jar with a lid on it, you're not going to have your alcohol evaporate. And you're also going to be able to use it again if you want to cleanse your lodestone down the line, because you want to recharge it, rededicate it, or work with it in a way that freshens it up. So once you've let it sit overnight, while it's sitting overnight, you might want to think of a name for your lodestone. The sort of traditional lodestone naming is if you're working with two lodestones for love, for example, you could call them he and she, or you could call them your name and the name of the person that you want to come closer to you. If you're working with a lodestone for prosperity, you can name it something that is related to prosperity for you. You could call it John D. Rockefeller or Bill, or something that is related to money and prosperity. So once you've thought of the name for your lodestone, you can, and the next day after you've let it sit overnight, take that lodestone out of your Hoyt's Cologne, Florida water, or whiskey, and then you let it dry. Because this is alcohol-based, it will dry pretty quickly. And then you want to consecrate and bless your lodestone. So you take a few drops of lodestone oil, put it on your finger, and then you say to the lodestone, Lodestone, I baptize you, John D. Rockefeller. You and I will work together. You will work to bring me prosperity. You will work to bring me all the money that I need to take care of my needs, and some extra so that I can share with others. You can make up your own words in this blessing, but what you want to do is establish the name of your lodestone and what it is that you want that lodestone to do for you. Once you've done that, you can use your lodestone on your altar. You can put it in a Mojo bag. You can carry it with you in other ways. You can use it magically when you are lighting candles and so on. There's really unlimited ways that you can use a lodestone. What you want to make sure that you do, once you've blessed your lodestone, you've cleansed it, you've blessed it, now that lodestone is alive, it has an energy, and it's working for you. And just like any living thing, you have to feed it. So, for example, if you're doing prosperity work with your lodestone, anytime you get money in, you want to feed that lodestone a little bit of magnetic sand, just a little pinch, and say, "Thank you, John D. Rockefeller, for bringing in my prosperity." And that's the exchange that you have. The lodestone has brought you prosperity. You're feeding that lodestone in return. You want to feed your lodestone at least once a week, but definitely feed your lodestone when it has done some of the work to either bring that love closer to you or bring that prosperity to you. When your lodestone gets too covered with magnetic sand, you can brush that magnetic sand off and you can reuse it to feed your lodestone again later. And then you can go ahead and cleanse your lodestone overnight in the whiskey, the Florida water, or the Hoyt's Cologne again. So that's how you work and prepare a lodestone to do some magical work. Lodestones are wonderful, wonderful tools for bringing in what it is that you want. My name is Madame Pamita. This is Madame Pamita's Parlor of Wonders. You can find me online at parlorofwonders.com.